How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse and I am back for another comic book video in Fawcett month. Now, this time I thought that I would cover a comic, well, it's a comic series from Fawcett that I haven't really discussed a lot about. This video is going to be about Masters Comics. Yes, in Fawcett Comics, there was more than just the Captain Marvel and the Marvel family, as you've seen from some of my other videos, but I really haven't said anything about the characters that have appeared or starred in Masters comic books other than characters who didn't start in Masters, but they were part of Masters. But these are going to be heroes that actually got their start in Masters comic books. Now, two of the heroes both debuted in Masters Comics #1. The third hero I'm going to cover did start in Masters, but he wasn't part of #1, but he's the only member of the Crime Crusaders Club I haven't actually mentioned yet. And I'll get into the Crime Crusaders Club, which was also debuted in Masters comic book, but that was a lot later on. The interesting thing about the first hero is Masters Comics is named after him, but he only appeared in the first 6 issues despite the comic book being named after him. We'll get into that as to why. And the other hero appeared in the first 20 issues, but I don't know if it was a popularity thing. After he caught his arch enemy, he retired from being a superhero. So let's cover the 3 heroes and the club as we go over Masters Comics. First we'll be covering in this video is Master Man. Master Man's origin is simple and sweet since he didn't have a lot of appearance in comics, and I'll give you the reason why. Master Man, real name unknown, first appearance was Master Comics #1 in 1940. He was published by Fawcett. Now, there is no writer credited with the story, so they're not sure who wrote it. There's also a contention on who was the first to draw Master Man. The story was drawn by Newt Alfred, but the comic cover was drawn by Harry Fawcett. Now, it's not sure if the comic or the story was drawn first, so there is contention over who was the first one to draw Master Man. Let's see, Master Man is, he's your basic superhero from the 1940s. He's super strong, he's super fast. Let's see, his origin says that he is stronger than untamed horses, swifter than raging winds, braver than mighty lions, wiser than wisdom, and kind as Galahad. When Master Man was a boy, he was basically a weakling, a la Captain America. This actually came before Captain America. A wise doctor gave him a magic vitamin capsule, which contained all the known energy sources that existed on that you could come across. This gave him the ability to not only be the strongest man on Earth, but he also gained super speed and invulnerability. When he became an adult, he built a castle of solid rock on a high mountain. He did this as basically his base of operations. Now, he only lasted for 6 issues, and the reason for this is because national periodicals, which would later become DC, which I have explained in a couple videos, threatened to sue Fawcett Comic Books about Master Man because he was so similar to Superman. Now, at the time, national publication was pretty much riding high on their high horse for them suing I believe it was Fox publication over Wonder Man, which I have discussed in one of my Heroes You Thought You Knew video where I went over Wonder Man. So after they won their lawsuit against Wonder Man, they decided that they would pursue a lawsuit against Fawcett if they did not stop with the Master Man comics. so he would only go on for 6 issues. The next hero on this list is Devil's Dagger. Devil's Dagger, Ken Wyham, first appeared in Masters Comics #1, 1940. Now, I know he sounds like a villain, but this is actually a hero. The original publisher is Fawcett, and he is made by Ken Batterfield. Ken Wyman, created by Ken Batterfield. I didn't pick up on that until just now. Ken came from a wealthy family, but instead of being a banker for the family, he decided that he wanted to be a reporter for the Daily Blade. He did this so he could also spend time fighting criminals, since that gave him more freedom to be a hero. He doesn't have any superpowers, but he is a skilled fighter. He is exceptionally adept at throwing daggers, and he is a master of jiu-jitsu. He had a main mode of transportation, which was a speed car, or a speedy car that he called the Speed Ghost. It was a fast car, and it was driven by his chauffeur, Pat Gleason. Devil's Dagger had many similarities to the Green Hornet, as in where he worked as a newsman and he had a chauffeur that helped him out. Other than that, the similarities weren't too much more apparent. Let's see. He had a girlfriend, Sandra Cole, who thought that he was only being a newsman until he would expose who Devil's Dagger was, and then that's when he would stop being a newsman and go into the family business. Now, in the very first issue, they never indicated why he was fighting crime or why he chose to use the name Devil's Dagger, so the writer of the story has not been preserved, but we were able to find the identity of the artist, who was Ken Batterfield, and Ken would draw all the issues that the Devil's Dagger would appear in, and he would appear in Masters Comics 1 to #20. After that, in the issue #20, he would finally capture his arch nemesis and would reveal who he was and retire from fighting crime. After that, he would be replaced in Masters Comics and would not be used again. It is presumed that he is owned by DC, but DC already has a couple of superheroes that are very much like the Green Hornet themselves, so they haven't seen fit to use Devil's Dagger. Whether he will appear in the future is as of yet is unknown. Next, we'll go over Minuteman. Minuteman of the One-Man Army. Minuteman Jack Weston first appeared in Masters Comics #11, 1941. Publisher is Fawcett. He is created by Charles Sultan. Minuteman named himself after the Minuteman from, I believe, the Revolutionary War. It was to be patriotic. He would also dress himself up in a suit that resembles the American flag. The stripes for his torso, and looks like the stars with the blue background for his arms. Now, he was a private in the Army and was stationed at Camp Blaine, which I think exists solely in the comic book, since I'm not familiar with it. He was unsatisfied with his role and decided to don a costume so he could fight the Nazis face to face. He did not have any superpowers, but he demonstrated tremendous strength, agility, courage, and fighting prowess. He would appear in a number of different issues: Masters Comics, the self-titled Minuteman comics, which I believe only lasted 3 issues, and America's Greatest Comics. Some of the villains that he would that he would fight would be Lady Illyria. I might be saying that wrong. Illyria. A villain named X-23, Mr. Skeleton, among many others. He would also become a member of the Crime Crusaders Club. And now we come to the Crime Crusaders Club. The Crime Crusaders Club was made up of a number of heroes: Minuteman, Bulletman, Bullet Girl, and Captain Marvel Jr. Their first and only appearance was Masters Comics number 41 in 1943. Publisher was Fawcett. The creator of this club was Phil Bard. From the opening panel of this, it looks like the Crime Crusaders Club had been going on for quite some time, but the main plot of this issue is they noticed that Minuteman was feeling out of sorts. When they asked him why he was not feeling like himself, he told them that he was selling war bonds, but he hit a dead end because he raised money from every group in society except for the criminal underworld. And I don't know why he would expect the underworld to fund a war effort. So Captain Marvel Jr. suggests that they entice the criminal organization to want to donate money to the war effort. What they do is they get all the criminals who want to take on Minuteman and take him out to agree to a hunt of sorts. They would take all their weapons and bullets away from them and tell them that if they wanted to pursue Minuteman until midnight of the day when the contest started, that they could buy their guns and ammo back for $100 apiece. Now, right as the hunt began, some crooks tried to cheat by using a grenade, but Captain Marvel Jr. confiscated the bomb, since they were only allowed to use guns and bullets. This is a completely ridiculous and stupid idea. At one point, while they're hunting Minuteman, a German spy shows up and wants to take Minuteman back to Berlin. While he is arguing with the American crooks, Minuteman makes it to a plane and takes off. The other criminals start to pursue him in airplanes as well, but then they ended up crossing into a different time zone where it became midnight at that point, thus ending the ability to hunt him without the other members of the club interfering. They take out the criminals. Well, they capture the criminals, and they also ended up raising $100,000 for the war bonds for Uncle Sam's War. Now, this story would get reprinted in AC Comics, but at the time of this reprinting, DC owned Captain Marvel Jr., so they would replace Captain Marvel Jr. with Mr. Scarlet in the issue instead of Marvel Jr. And this was to avoid any legal issues, but as far as I know, now DC owns the Bullet family and Mr. Scarlet, so I don't know how that works overall. Well, I hope you're enjoying this video. I hope that I'm answering all the questions about Fawcett comic books that you never asked. Now, there are far too many heroes in Fawcett for me to cover everyone, so hopefully I'll get back to it again sometime. Coming up next month, well, there'll be one more video for Fawcett, and then coming up next month, I am going to be doing quality comics. I am going to do a video where I will review who Quality is, what they did, who they were, and where they went, much like I did with my Fawcett video a couple months back. But I'll start it for Quality Month, and then we'll go over some of the heroes from Quality. Some that there are a number of ones that I've covered already, so I might briefly mention them, but we'll get into some of the new heroes from Quality Comics. So stay tuned for that one. One more video on Fawcett, and then Quality Comics Month for the month of June. Until then, I'll be seeing you.